الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى. يا رب لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله، بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الله به الغمة وجاهد في سبيل ربه حتى أتاه اليقين. اللهم اجزه عنا وعن والدينا وعن الإسلام والمسلمين خير ما جازيت به نبيا عن قومه ورسولا عن أمته. اللهم أحينا على سنته وتوفنا على ملته وأوردنا حوضه واسقنا من يده الشريفة شربة هنيئة لا نطمع بعدها أبدا. اللهم اجمع بيننا وبينه كما آمنا به ولم نره، ولا تفرق بيننا وبينه حتى تدخلنا مدخله. ثم أما بعد, my dear respected brothers and sisters, being able to speak and express our thoughts and feelings is a great blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ar-Rahman allama al-Quran, khalaqa al-insan allamahu al-bayan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught us how to speak and how to articulate our thoughts, ideas. But like all other blessings, could be very harmful if we misuse it. The tongue is the agent of the intellect. Whatever is in our mind, we can articulate it through our tongue. And as some ulama said, that other senses have limited power, but the tongue has almost unlimited power. Ear can hear only the sound around us, limited to this sound around us, cannot hear anything beyond that. And the eyes can see colors and figures surrounding us, we cannot see anything beyond this. But the power of the tongue is almost unlimited. We can talk and talk about all things past, present, and future. And so many people are unable to use their tongue properly. In other words, they misuse this tongue and therefore it became a very dangerous thing, and they commit a lot of sins through their tongues. And Imam Al-Ghazali, we are still studying his book Ihya Ulumuddin, and I thought this particular part of his book that everybody needs to hear. Imam Al-Ghazali talked about the merit of silence. He said, he quoted the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in which he said that he who keeps silent will be safe. He will keep silent, will be safe. It's always better not to speak. But if you want to speak, choose your words carefully. Say the right thing at the right time. And do not exaggerate. Imam Al-Ghazali said there are plenty of sins committed by the tongue. And when Mu'adh radiallahu anhu said, Ya Rasulullah, will we be questioned about what we say? Is any hisab on what we say? Mu'adh thought it's an easy thing to use. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him that if there's anything that leads people to destruction other than what they say, most of the troubles come from the tongue. Sometimes wars between families and tribes and nations come from a word, said or written or tweeted. It can cause a lot of troubles and hurting other people. So therefore, Imam Al-Ghazali actually focused on the idea that one should be silent unless there's a need to speak. And it was narrated that Isa alayhi salam was asked by his disciples, what should we do in order to enter paradise? He said, don't talk. They said, we cannot do that. He said, then say what is good. If you cannot remain silent, just then say what is right, what's good. It's exactly what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in the hadith as-sahih, Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir falyaqul khayran aw liyasmut. He who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the hereafter should say what is good or remain silent. But silence is not easy. It's not easy to remain silent. It's much easier to keep talking and talking and talking. And some actually consider this like a sign of intelligence. You know, social gathering, everybody wants to speak so much to show how smart, educated he is or she is. Wise people remain silent and they speak when there is a need for them to speak. And very few people can do this. As Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "As-samtu hikamun wa qalilun fa'iluh." Silence is wisdom, and few people who do it, who practice silence. It's also been narrated that when a man rises from his bed in the morning, his limbs say to the tongue, all the limbs speak to the tongue and say, "Fear Allah, taqillaha fina." Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding us, because when you are all right, you are sound, then we are all right. And when you are wrong, we are all wrong. Everybody will pay the price for what you do. So fear Allah regarding us. And speaking is cheap. We don't pay money for the words we say. There's no taxes on what we say. Imagine if we pay taxes for the amount of words we use, the amount of talk we make every day. Might be a good idea. Imagine if we pay money for everything we say. That will, much, of course, will speak less. And wise people speak less, willingly. And just to show how dangerous the misuse of our tongue is, Imam Al-Ghazali, as all philosophers do, classified our talk into 4 categories. One is the kind of talk that's always beneficial. Second is the kind of talk that's always harmful. Third is the talk that's mixed with harmful and beneficial talk. And the fourth one is the talk that's neither harmful or beneficial. And he said, of course, 3 out of these 4 we should stay away from. The always harmful talk, lying, cursing, and so on, that's obviously we have to stay away from. It's haram. The other one is the useless talk. Not useful, not harmful, it's called useless. Why wasting our time and energy in useless talk? And the third is the kind of talk that mixes the good and bad talks. And that's also we should stay away from. The only thing that remains is the kind of talk that's always useful. And even this part, even this 1/4 of what we say, he said sometimes it's mixed with bad intention, showing off, and so on and so forth. So the conclusion is that it's always good to remain silent. And when you speak, speak what is good and think about your speak. This is what Imam Ghazali is trying to promote, that the wise people think before they speak. The foolish people speak and then they think about what they said. They always said that you will not regret. It's very unlikely to regret being silent, but it's more likely to regret saying something. And once you say it, you cannot take it back. The harm is there. So, Imam Ghazali actually talked about 20 harms of the tongue. 20 kind of harms and sins committed by the tongue. Lying, backbiting, gossip talk, and cursing, and false testimony, and so on and so forth. Now today I just want to focus on this concept of ghaiba, because it's so dangerous and many people take it very lightly. Very lightly, although the Quran talked about it in a very serious terms. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran al-Kareem, وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا وَلَا يَغْتَبْ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا. Do not spy or backbite each other. And backbiting is as bad as, would one of you like to eat the flesh of his brother when dead? You would detest it. So, talking negatively about someone in his or her absence is like eating their flesh while they're dead. It's as bad as this. What is the definition of ghaiba? Ghaiba means to talk negatively about your brother, about something that he dislikes. You won't say it if he or she is present. Talking about people who are not present, talking negatively about them. And some of the Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, what if what we say is true? Right? And the Prophet ﷺ said, this is a definition of ghayba. إن كان فيه ما تقول فقد اغتبته. So what if someone lied about someone who's not present? That's called buhtan. The word buhtan means to say something about someone that does not exist. Right? But if you say something that it's real, that's called ghayba. When you say this person, this fat guy, or this short person, or this stingy man. He could be stingy. It could be as he described him, right? But mentioning these negative things during his absence, and of course, this person wouldn't have liked this to be said about him, and that is a definition of ghayba. Now we need to think about ourselves and how many times we talk about others in their absence in a negative way. In a negative way. Imam Ghazali argued that many people are accustomed to backbiting. That's part of their daily practice in every gathering, every meeting, phone calls, emails. They do this in a regular basis. It's become part of a habit. And they don't see anything wrong with that. And when we go back to Al-Quran Al-Kareem and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, we'll find out that it is a very serious thing. As we all know, there are huquq to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and huquq al-ibad, rights of the people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can forgive easily His rights. Miss some of your prayers or some of the fasting, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can easily forgive. But when we violate the right of others, that becomes more problematic. In Hadith Sahih Muslim, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, a Muslim is a Muslim's brother. He does not wrong, desert, or despise him. And then he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, every Muslim's blood, property, and honor are unlawful to be violated by another Muslim. كل المسلم على المسلم حرام. دمه وماله وعرضه. The money of my brother, his property, I cannot take unwillingly. And his blood, of course, his life, I cannot harm him, let alone kill him. Right? It's haram. That's clear. But the third thing that Rasulullah ﷺ mentioned, this is what people take very lightly. وَعِرْضُهُ. Life and property is understood, but al-ird, the ird of your brother is as haram as his blood and as his property. As you cannot steal from your brother, you cannot harm, hurt, or injure your brother. You cannot also violate his honor by mentioning him or her in their absence. They cannot defend themselves. Al-Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ taught us to always respect the dignity and the honor of other people. You don't want anybody to talk negatively about you during your absence. And similarly, we should not do it to others. أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه. When Rasulullah ﷺ heard two of his Sahaba talking very negatively about someone who committed a sin and been punished, and then he talked very negatively about him. And soon after they passed by a dead animal, and Rasulullah ﷺ told them, go and eat from this dead animal. He said, Ya Rasulullah, how can we eat? He said, what you said about your brother is even worse than eating the meat of this dead animal. This is how bad it is. And despite that, sometimes we take it very lightly. We give ourselves the authority and the right to speak about others during their absence. So it's a violation of the honor of others when we mention them negatively during their absence. And what should we do when this happens in front of us, when someone backbites someone else? Rasulullah ﷺ told us that when you see something wrong, stop it by your hand or by your tongue. And in this case, we must be active, not passive, and just sit and listen to this backbiting and doing nothing. In this way, we are participating, taking part of this sin. When you hear someone speaking negatively about someone who's not present, we should remind them nicely that fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should not talk about them in their absence. You remind yourself and you also educate everybody. That is, this is something unethical, it's bad, it's a sin, and we will be held accountable for what we say. In fact, Rasulullah ﷺ said that when you protect the dignity or the honor of your brother during his absence, when people talk negative about him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect your dignity, your honor during your absence. Allah will provide someone to protect you as well. So obviously we should not backbite others, but also we should stop others from doing backbiting by reminding them that we should not do this. And then the ulama talked about what if I remember that I did backbite someone and what should I do? How can we repent from this? There are two opinions here. One, good number of scholars, they said you don't have to go and talk to him or her. All what you need to do is to repent sincerely and to make dua for this person. Say, Allah, oh Allah, forgive him and bless him and his health and his wealth, and forgive me and forgive him. And that, inshallah, will be a good tawbah for this. Other scholars, including Imam Ghazali, they said, no, you have to go to the person and ask him or her for forgiveness. Especially if you know they are reasonable people and they will forgive you. You don't have to say what you said about him or her, but if you know that they are reasonable people, just go and tell him, please forgive me for what I have said about you. And the first group of the scholars, they said that if you know this may bring more hatred or animosity or rage, then it's better to avoid it. Just pray for him and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless him and to forgive you and to forgive him as well. But we should try our best to stop backbiting and consider this as one of the big sins that people take very lightly. We don't want to be held accountable on the day of judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks us about this thing, and these people that we mentioned during their absence did not forgive us, they will be in trouble. So brothers and sisters, today's message is that we have to really be aware of this kind of sin that we take very lightly, talking negatively about others. It's not going to be easy to stop all of a sudden, I know, but we have to at least be aware that we need to train ourselves, to stop ourselves, to put a brake on our tongue when we have the urge to talk negatively about others. We have to do some effort. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the knowledge and the power in order to stop our tongue from doing this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all our sins. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us all. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فاستغفروه. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. عباد الله اتقوا الله وأطيعوه. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. اللهم إنا نسألك رزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا. اللهم أصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا وأصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا وأصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا. اللهم اجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر. يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث فأصلح لنا شأننا كله. اللهم لا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين ولا إلى أحد من الناس يا رب العالمين. اللهم إنا نسألك من الخير كله عاجله وآجله ما علمنا منه وما لم نعلم ونعوذ بك من الشر كله عاجله وآجله ما علمنا منه وما لم نعلم. نسألك من كل خير سألك منه عبدك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ونعوذ بك من كل شر استعاذك منه عبدك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم إنا نسألك فعل الخيرات وترك المنكرات وحب المساكين، وإذا أردت بالناس فتنة فاقبضنا إليك غير فاتنين ولا مفتونين يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعل خير أعمالنا خواتمها، واجعل خير أيامنا وأسعدها يوم نلقاك وأنت راض عنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم هون علينا سكرات الموت، اللهم توفنا على الإيمان والإسلام. اللهم إنا نسألك حسن الخاتمة يا حنان يا منان يا بديع السماوات والأرض يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم اشفنا واشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين، وارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين، وانصر الإسلام وأعز المسلمين. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا ورزقا واسعا وشفاء من كل داء، ونسألك الغنى عن الناس يا رب العالمين. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية في الدين والدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والجنة، ونعوذ بك من سخطك والنار. اللهم إنا نعوذ برضاك من سخطك وبمعافاتك من عقوبتك، وبك منك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. تبارك اسمك وتعالى جدك ولا إله غيرك. اللهم إنا نسألك في هذا اليوم العظيم أن تغفر لنا ذنوبنا أجمعين. اللهم كما جمعتنا في الدنيا على طاعتك، فاجمعنا يوم القيامة في مستقر رحمتك وتحت ظل عرشك مع النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين، وحسن أولئك رفيقا. وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. أقم الصلاة.